I was browsing through Value Mart with my wife, and I came across a painting displayed at the top of the shelf, 3 feet by 5 feet, a large painting with an antique-looking frame. So I took it down and looked at it more closely out of curiosity. Touched the surface and it felt original. So I did some quick Google search, painter's name, and found out that she passed away in 1991, and some of her paintings have been auctioned off anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000. So that got me more curious. So I touched the surface of canvas more and closely, and looked at it more closely, back of the painting as well. It was written in 1966 and with certain numbers, signed by the painter. So it looked like the original, felt like original, and smelled like original, and verified as original from my initial Google search. So I bought it for the whopping $17.99. I thought I just found a treasure hidden in the dirt. In this case, top of the shop at Value Mart. I didn't want anyone to take it, so I hid my excitement and carried it to the cashier and calmly paid for the painting. What a bargain, right? Still. Then I went to Starbucks and had a cup of grande size coffee and calmed my excitement and Googled some more, searched some more, just to make sure, double check. So after about 30 minutes of Googling, I found several sites with the same painting, the same frame, same date, same painter's signature, and selling for $20. So I searched more, same result. And I went to my car and touched the surface of canvas once again. Too slick, no bumpy oil painting, right? So I came to a conclusion, duh. So it was a reproduction, a copy, a counterfeit, imprint. And I said to myself, Richard, how could you be so dull? Right? Can't believe you just did that. What happened? Right? But it looked like, and it felt like, and it smelled like the original. So later on, I donated the painting to church thrift sale. So that I think around $20. So have you ever had that experience? Mistaken the counterfeit painting for the original? Have you ever had that experience? Yeah. There are a lot of counterfeits out there, a lot of copycats out there, and often we can't tell the difference between original and a counterfeit, because the counterfeits, they look and feel and smell more original than originals, right? So let's just change the subject right here. So what's your lucky number? What's your lucky number? 7. Anybody?
6.
6. Anybody?
55.
You don't have a lucky number? Well, my lucky number is 443. 443. So what's so special about the number 443? Well, it's not a random number. It's my unique number. See, according to Jewish numerology, gematria, my name Richard Chung corresponds the total sum number 443. See, in ancient time, people used letters to their names corresponding with numbers, as we would if we devise a system where A is 1, B is 2, and so on, numerology. Right? In Hebrew language, in gematria, numerologies, every letter corresponded with a certain number. If my name, Richard Chung, is transliterated into Jewish character, the sum total would be 443. And I could actually convert your name to Jewish numerology. I could do that. If you come back later, I'll do that for free. So, we're on the part 7 of the book of Revelation that we've gone through for the last 7 Sundays. Today will be the last one. We're not covering until chapter 22. It will probably take another 7 more weeks, and we're taking a break in summertime. So, last one, I hope to have some time, maybe down the road, to cover rest of chapters. How did you like it so far? If the number is any indication, we have less people after I preach this. If number is, I've been counting people, and it's like we have just reduced. Right? It's, or maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. So today, chapter 13, there's a most talked about number, 666, right? Today's text, Apostle John assigned the number 666 to the name of a certain person. And he said it requires wisdom, insight to figure out who represented the number. Well, let's just cut straight to the number. And the name Nero Caesar, Roman Emperor, Nero Caesar is written transliteration in Hebrew character. The sum of the numbers would total 666. The number of the beast. You see, in general, the number 666 not only referred to that one emperor, Nero Caesar, but the lines of emperors since Julius Caesar, the Roman emperors who have called themselves Son of God. That's what they refer themselves as, Divi Filius, God's sons. And demand the people to offer sacrifice, kneel down, and worship them like God. And they persecuted, especially the early Christians, to turn away from true God and to worship the Roman emperors, the counterfeit gods. And you see, the interesting thing is that the number 666 not only refers to Nero Caesar in Hebrew numerology, it's also a paradigm. The number of perfection would be what? 777, 777, right? But for John, there is a little doubt that Nero and the kingdom he represented and embodied was not a parody of the real thing, the copy, the counterfeit of the original. One short of the right number 3 times, 666. Jesus was the reality, the original Nero, just dangerous, blasphemous copycat, a counterfeit God. For the early Christians, the persecution was real and clear. You worship God or you worship Roman Emperor. You submit and offer a sacrifice to God or Roman Emperor. You live as a citizen of God's kingdom or you live as a citizen of the Roman kingdom. Clear cut, no gray line. So the persecution was real. Now for us, it's not so clear, not so black and white, not so simple. The early Christians were persecuted. We're being sort of persuaded. There are counterfeits everywhere in the world we live. Counterfeit paintings, counterfeit monies, counterfeit generosity, counterfeit smile, counterfeit promise, counterfeit love, counterfeit beauty, counterfeit truth, counterfeit goods, counterfeit and fake news, sort of call it alternate fact, right? These counterfeits all demand our attention, draw our attention away from the real thing. They all try to distract us from focusing on what really matters. And often we fall for them because the counterfeits look like, sound like, smell like, feel like, and taste like the original. These counterfeit goods and counterfeit gods among us. Now, 2 of the tactics that the empires of this world. Now, when I say empire, I mean oppressive power. Oppressive power. The empire of this world, the counterfeit gods of this world, used to distract people away from what really matters. 2, I want to just highlight 2 out of many, but highlight 2. One is entertainment, the other one is fear. Entertainment. We're living in a world where our heroes are made out of celebrity chefs or reality show stars or pop cultural idols and sports entertainments. Right? We just had 2 huge sporting events finished last week. NBA had a US Open golf, right? 2 epic sporting events. Guess how many people have watched them? A lot of people, millions of people. I do too. I usually don't watch these things, but since Raptors were in the final, and so I watched it. And Tiger Woods was doing comeback trail, although he didn't do that well. I did. Totally kind of. So I don't even watch TV on a regular basis. I don't even have TV at all. But I watch through my computer. We're spending way too much time in front of the screen, cheering, crying, and shouting for sports figures and all sort of entertainment. Being distracted with side matters, while losing our sight on what really matters. One of the tactics that the Roman Empire did to distract people from what really mattered was the game of gladiators. The bloody sports entertainment distracted people from what really mattered. Another one is the fear tactic. We are naturally concerned about our safety, security, and survival. And when we think our security or our way of life is at risk, we tend to react rather than rationalize. Right? In ancient times, there was a well-known Athenian leader named Cleon, C-L-E-O-N, who persuaded Athenians to slaughter prisoners of Crete, butcher every man of the city they came from, and to sell their wives and children as slaves. Now the Athenians, in the heat of victory and excitement, resolved to do just what Cleon suggested, but rescinded the resolution the following day when they came to their senses. Now this Cleon is a well-known figure. We call this demagogue. Have you heard that, demagogue? Greek is a person, especially a political leader, who seeks support by appealing to popular desires and prejudice rather than by using rational judgment. So can you think of any political leaders who rose power through demagoguery, inciting people's fear? Fear is one huge emotional weapon that the counterfeit God uses to distract us from what really matters, from true God, what God really desires from us. This fear of losing way of our life, our security, can distance us away from what really matters. And this fear can drive us away from love, drive us inward, to draw the line between insiders and outsiders, and isolate us from the needs and wants of the others, leaving us huddled with our own kind. This fear makes people to lose clarity, distancing themselves from what really matters. When we feel that our established and familiar norm of our life is at risk, we strike back, we react, we tend to clench. So it requires us to discern. Listen, Jesus said, seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all the other stuff, the side matters will be given to you. Seek and pursue what really matters. So how do you discern? To distinguish the counterfeit from the original, the pretenders from the real ones. Well, not easy. When we are surrounded with so many counterfeits that compete to draw our attention, and when we often find ourselves overwhelmed with so many demands, so many choices, so many directions, and especially when we think and feel our needs, our desires, and our dreams, and our happiness are somehow threatened as we follow Jesus, it can be very tempting to slide back, compromise, and be persuaded to settle with counterfeit gods. Counterfeit happiness, counterfeit safety, counterfeit truth, counterfeit meaning and goal. What really matters? Well, Jesus matters. Right? For the church, we exist to worship God and to follow Jesus and to be empowered by the Holy Spirit. So we need to ask ourselves, do we know God? Because God really matters. But also, we really need to ask ourselves, do we know Jesus? Because Jesus really matters above all. Maybe the way to what really matters is, in our life, is knowing the one who mattered to us most of all. Now, for me, I want to know Jesus, to have more intimate relationship with Jesus. One thing we can offer to the world out there that is special and unique to the world out there is Jesus. Knowing God is great, yes, but really knowing Jesus and bringing in a way to present Jesus. See, when we go out there, when we talk about God, people out there have all kinds of ideas about God. There are many people outside of church who are expert in God and God's stuff, from various religious groups and scientists to motivational speakers and to average New Age believers. They are expert in God. Maybe they know God way more than we know God. But when we talk about Jesus, many out there have no idea who Jesus is. The way we know Jesus. We know Jesus. Jesus is what separates us from all others. When we go out there, we can speak about our relationship with Jesus, how we've been transformed by his love. Jesus matters, the original. In a world where counterfeit gods are everywhere, and join many people with the counterfeit gods, we bring Jesus. What really matters, who really matters. So I leave this challenge to you this as we go into our summer break, sort of. Summer is time of restoration, recreating our relationship with God and with Jesus. So I just want to give this challenge for you, for have this 2 months of kind of refreshing, kind of intimate relationship, rebuild, refocus, and get to know the one who really matters.